Shalom, Shalom Israel. Again, the title of this show again is called The Feast of Tabernacles, the Messianic Reign of the Messiah. Okay, and I left off in verse 28, so that's where I'm going to pick up from, verse 28. And it says, now, and you shall do no work in that same day. This day that is talking about the month of Ethanim, okay, the 10th day, and that 10th day is called the Day of Atonement. And you should do no work in that same day. It is the Day of Atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your power. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not afflict in that same day, he shall be cut off from amongst his people. Verse 30. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, that same soul will I destroy from amongst his people. Now, what we have to understand here now is that these prerequisites was given to the nation of Israel before we moved into the land of Canaan. Because there's some things that's going on here. We're talking about work. And we're supposed to observe the Day of Atonement. Now, being that we're in the land of our exile, and again, I'm not telling a person to go to work. What I'm telling and what I'm trying to explain is that I understand, me personally, that we're living in the land of our exile. And what I'm not trying to do is lay any heavy burdens upon the brothers or sisters. If you have to work, and again, it's just my own personal opinion, and I'm not trying to supersede the scriptures. If you have to go to work because bills are done, needs to be paid, or whatever the case might be, I don't really have a problem with it, okay? But again, at the same time, try to make it your business, okay, not to work on that day. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell, I will never teach or tell another brother or sister, hey, listen, you know what? You worked on the Day of Atonement, you're going to hell. I will never, ever in a million years teach a brother or a sister that. I'm teaching here that we should learn how to rehearse the righteous acts, that the Messiah has an appointment, and it's very important that we keep the appointments. But as far as telling another brother or sister, again, that he's going to hell because he worked on the Day of Atonement, that is not my thing. I don't do that, all right? I just wanted to make sure that, there was a clear understanding on that. And again, at the same time, I'm not saying to go ahead and go to work, okay? This is something that you have to work out with you and the Messiah, and I just leave it at that. Verse 31. You shall do no manner of work, it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. And I look at that word in all your dwellings, and I take it very serious, because even in the land of our exile. Verse 32, it shall be unto you a Sabbath. So we have the sighting of the new moon as a Sabbath. We have the 10th day, the Day of Atonement, also a Sabbath. It should be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even, from even unto even, shall you celebrate your Sabbath. From one even, because we understand that from sundown to sundown makes a day. So from one evening to the next evening, we're supposed to honor when the Day of Atonement, which is on the 10th day. And the Messiah spoke to Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel again, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month. So we're talking about, again, the 7th month, the Sabbath month, the month of Ethanim. So far now we have 3 major days, events that's going on in the month of Ethanim. We had the first day at the sighting of the new moon, or the renewed moon, okay, the blowing of the trumpets. The 10th day, we have the Day of Atonement. And the 15th day is the Feast of Tabernacles. Speaking to the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. For 7 days. And again, what I found interesting with the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Tabernacles starts on the 15th day, okay, for 7 days, which brings us to the 21st. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 7 days. Also now, when you go to the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter, where it talks about the Passover, The Passover lamb was killed on the 14th, okay? And the Messiah gave up the spirit at the ninth hour. The ninth hour is 3 o'clock p.m. The Messiah, okay, was put into the ground before the 15th nighttime starting the next day. Okay, hopefully that was confusing, so I'm going to say it again. The Messiah gave up the spirit on the 14th, the ninth hour, which is 3 o'clock p.m. The Messiah was put into the ground before the 15th, the start of unleavened bread. And Passover and unleavened bread works is synonymous. Okay, it starts on the 14th, but the 15th is, okay, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and it lasts for 7 days. And I just found it very interesting. Even now, in the month of Ethanim, we have a situation where on the 15th to the 21st, okay, is the Feast of Tabernacles. And the 8th day, okay, is very important. And I don't want to jump ahead of anything, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. But I'm just making a comparison with the Feast of Unleavened Bread from the 15th to the 21st, and the Feast of Tabernacles from the 15th to the 21st. The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days until the Messiah. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, for it's a Sabbath. Just like on the 15th, okay, of unleavened bread. We're not supposed to do no servile work there. So I'm going to read it again. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Messiah. It is a solemn assembly. You shall do no servile work therein. Now, what I want to do now is go to Deuteronomy 16, and I'm going to read 13 to 16. The book of Deuteronomy, or the book of Devarim, which means words. And I'm going to be reading from the 16th chapter. 16. 16:13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice. And the word rejoice is going to be very, very important. But I don't want to jump ahead too quick. Actually, I can go ahead and do it now. The word rejoice is very, very important. The word rejoice is the Strong's number 8055. And let's go to that right quick. And let's get some clarity on this word rejoice. And the Strong's number is 8055. $80.55. And actually what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to read 80.55, 80.56, and 80.57. 80.55. It says to make believe, B-L-I-T-H-E, or gleesome, to cheer up, to make glad, to make merry, to rejoice. So the Hebrew word is samak, which is very, very important. Strong's number 8056. It has B-L-I-T-H-E, bleaf, or gleeful, glad, joyful, making merry, hearted, to rejoice. And the last one I want to bring out is the Strong's number 8057. It means exceedingly gladness. And I like that definition a whole lot better. Exceedingly gladness. Because we have to understand the importance of the 7th month, the messianic reign of the Messiah, versus the other, okay, holy convocations. The Feast of Tabernacles, okay, I'm not saying that the other feasts are important, because they're very, very important. Because all of the feasts, okay, are foreshadowing the coming of the Messiah. and that's very important. I'm going to say this again. With understanding the feast, it gives us a greater understanding on where we are at in helping us understand the messianic reign of the Messiah. And the Feast of Tabernacles is very, very important, extremely important, because the Messiah fulfilled the spring feast. And what we're waiting to happen now is for the Messiah to fulfill the fall feast, the wheat gathering. The word Feast of Tabernacles is also called ingathering, and that's very important. Again, the word Feast of Tabernacles is also called ingathering. And so the question has to come, the ingathering of what? Because the scriptures tell us in detail that the nation of Israel was scattered amongst the four corners of the earth. And so now, with understanding Hebrew in its proper context, along with the story, who is it that the Messiah is going to ingather during his messianic reign? He's going to ingather the nation of Israel. This is the time where the Messiah is going to now dwell, the word Sukkot, amongst his people. This is the reason why I say the Feast of Tabernacles is very, very important. It's very important for us to understand the appointed festivals or the holy convocations, this dress rehearsal. It's very important for us to understand this. And we're supposed to be very cheerful during this occasion. I'm not saying that we're not supposed to be cheerful and glad during the other holy convocations with Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, First Fruits, Pentecost, but special emphasis I'm going to show here is being played on in the Feast of Tabernacles, the ingathering. This is a very, very special occasion that's happening in the 7th month. Okay? Now, I'm going to be going back into that word now, rejoice. Now, I left off in, I'm going to read verse 36 again. It says, 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and you should do no servile work therein. So there's 7 days, and then an extra day was added, and that's the, we're talking about the solemn assembly. 37. These are the feasts, okay, or the appointments of the Lord, which you shall proclaim. And when somebody's proclaiming something, it's our job to establish this as watchmen of the Messiah to the nation of Israel, is that these are dress rehearsals. And it's important for the bride to be there when the groom is ready to now reunify both northern and southern kingdom, his bride, back to him. If you're not there at the set appointed time, you will miss the wedding. And an example that I always throw out, the importance of Acts, the 2nd chapter, when we talk about the Feast of Weeks. Okay? And just a brief definition of that. Okay? We have now the Messiah, like I said earlier, the Messiah gave up the Spirit now at the 9th hour. The 9th hour is 3 o'clock p.m. The Messiah was put into the ground, okay, before the 15th nighttime. And again, I'm going to say this again. The Messiah gave up the Spirit on the 9th hour, which is 3 p.m. on the 14th at evening. After the evening comes the nighttime. So the 15th at nighttime is the next day. It's the 15th. With that understanding, the Messiah raised from the grave, okay, on the Sabbath. When the women, Mary and the women came to the sepulcher on, it was on the Sabbath, okay, but it was the dawning of the next day, Sunday. So with that understanding now, you count 7. With that, I have to say